Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us on News 360 live from Adesawe Kanda in Accra. I am Ayisha Yakubu.
And I am Noble Crosby, and these are headlines of the bulletin tonight.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
President Mahama directs Energy Minister to monitor Israel-Iran conflict closely as crude oil prices go up, which will affect the economy.
Also coming up, phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project begins, bringing hope to residents of Agaveji, Amutinu and Salakope.
They work under challenging circumstances and still choose to save lives. Tonight, we bring you the story of nurses working at Kayerso Health Center in the Savannah region.
Much later in international news, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will strike every site and every target of Iran after Iran launched waves of missiles in retaliation for Israeli strikes on Friday. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you shortly. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. Let's settle for the details, shall we?
We're starting off on a rather sad note as a canoe accident has claimed the lives of 7 Lawra Senior High School students. This was after the canoe carrying members of the school's cadet corps capsized in the Black Volta River near Dikwe in the Upper West region. The accident occurred on Saturday morning, June 14, during a routine morning jogging. Let's get a little more detail on this. We can now engage with Osman Abdul Latif Sinseo. He is the Upper West Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO. Quite a terrible evening. Good evening to you, though, and thank you for joining us on News 360.
Good evening to you and your listeners.
Can you give us a little more detail on the extent of damage?
Yes, quite devastating enough. This morning, I had a lot of calls that some students who are cadet students from Lawra Senior High went on jogging. Routinely, they do that to around the river, the Pearl River. So this morning, they took their usual jogging, which they do always, but this time, every year this time, they do a ritual by crossing the river. But they used to, other years, they pass through Malwan. That's the other side of the river, where that place is narrow. They could walk and cross as part of their training as cadets in the school. But this time, they decided to go to around where they depend itself. So they passed through there. That place is deep. So they went through that one. As they got to that place, it was only a young boy, I should describe, because they said the young Burkinabe, 50, between the ages of 15 and 18, that they got inside the river with his boat or canoe. So they stopped him, and then he was to pick them. And these students were 15. They were numbering 15 that got to that river.
So, Abdul Latif, can you confirm the people, how many people have died so far? How many students?
Yes, 7. Let me put it this way: 5 people are found dead, confirmed dead by the medical officer, but 2 are still drowned in the water. They have not gotten the search team have not been able to get 2 of them. They have stopped.
Right, you can continue.
They have come out from the river saying that they will wait until tomorrow morning that they themselves will appear by the river bank.
But have we identified these students and also the relatives of these victims?
Yes, we identified identification as in we went to the morgue to see the number of those that they have retrieved, because the 10 that capsided with the one that was paddling the canoe, he was able to escape, and 3 other students were also able to escape. They also swam out, leaving 7. So the 5 were found dead, confirmed dead, and they were sent to the municipal morgue. And 2 are still in the water as we am talking to you.
Abdulateef, this is quite a traumatic event. For the remaining students, how are we hoping to help them cope with all of this?
Yes, I think at the moment they are being taken care of by trying to rehabilitate them so that they will be able to cope up, those who have survived. And even from all indications, the teacher who is in charge and has taken them through has also, yes, is also down there, and they are trying to bring them up so that
Sad development there, Abdulateef. I'm sure that we'll get a little more detail when we call you in subsequent bulletins. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Osman Abdulateef, since he was the Upper West Regional Director of Nandom.
To some other stories tonight, and President John Dramani Mahama has directed the Energy Minister to closely monitor the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran and assess the potential impact on global oil prices. Speaking during his thank you tour of the Savannah region, the president acknowledged that despite the economic gains made by his government, rising tensions in the Middle East could negatively affect oil prices.
Today, I wish to reaffirm that our commitment to the people of the Savannah region will never shake. Despite the work we have done in stabilizing the economy, Ghana is not immune from the shocks of global events. Recent events in the Middle East, which involve an exchange of missiles between Israel and Iran, have started to escalate crude oil prices dramatically. I've asked our Minister of Finance and Minister of Energy to keep a close eye on the development and model the possible impacts on our petroleum prices and prepare measures to protect the recent gains that we have made.
Well, President Mahama says tensions between Israel and Iran could impact fuel prices in Ghana. And while Israel isn't, if you like, a major oil exporter, Iran controls key oil routes and produces over 3 million barrels a day, making any escalations between these two countries a global concern. So, how do rising oil prices and the strength of the city affect what you and I pay at the pump? Let's break it down for you. Look at this. Now, it is easy to think that when fuel prices go up, it is all because oil prices are rising globally. But Ghana's current situation tells a different story. Let's break it further down. In 2024, global oil prices, and I'm talking about Brent, sold at about $74 per barrel. At the same time, petrol in Ghana was going for around 15 cedis 30 pesos per litre and 18 cedis 66 pesos per litre for diesel. Now, fast forward to 2025, the same global price is still hovering around the same $74 per barrel. But in Ghana, petrol is down to 11 cedis 77 pesos and diesel to 12 cedis 49 pesos. So the question will then be, what's changed? It's a very simple answer. It lies in the city. At the end of 2024, the city was weak, around 14 cedis 85 pesos to $1. Now, by mid-2025, it had strengthened significantly, now trading at about 10 cedis 30 pesos to the dollar, like you currently can see on your screens. That means the cost of importing fuel became cheaper, even though oil prices didn't drop. So yes, global prices matter, but another key indicator, something else that really matters here, is how strong or weak your local currency is. Now, here is the catch on the back of what President Mahama has said. If the Iran-Israel conflict escalates, experts say that the Brent crude could shoot up to about $90 a barrel. And that's a 21.6% increase. Kind of disturbing. If that happens, and the cedi stays at 10 cedis 30 pesos, although it has not depreciated, listen to this, fuel prices will rise. You'll be buying petrol at around 14 cedis 31 pesos per litre, and diesel at 15 cedis 19 pesos per litre. So, to avoid that kind of price hike, the cedi must appreciate also by the same volume, by the same value, 21.6%. If that happens, it means that it has to hit around 8 cedis to the dollar. But mind you, that is a tough task or something difficult to do. If that does not happen and the cedi stays at where it is, prices of fuel will go up. So next time you hear about rising fuel prices, remember that it is not just about the oil in the Middle East. It is also about the strength of the Ghana cedi here at home. The battle isn't just at the oil rigs. It is also at the forest desk. With what is happening in Israel and Iran, the situation is dicey. A good advice by President Mahama to the energy minister and to the finance minister to monitor closely and advise, because I should tell you that the impact will be dire on Ghana's economy. The impact could be dire, particularly for you and I as we go to the pumps to buy fuel. Now you know. Whatever you want to do with this information is up to you. Let us also know on our social media platforms what you make of this development. But to some other stories tonight, the Ghana Revenue Authority has postponed the implementation of the Tariff Interpretation Order TIO number 2-2025-004, which pertains to the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025. And I'm talking about Act 1141. A statement from the GRA signed by the Commissioner General of the GRA, Anthony Kwesi, noted that the decision follows a directive from the Minister of Finance after consultations with key stakeholders. The increase in the energy sector shortfall and debt repayment levy for selected petroleum product was to have taken effect on June 9, but was postponed to June 15 following concerns raised by oil marketers. According to the statement, a new effective date for the implementation will be communicated in due course. This is also something in relation perhaps to the happenings on the international market, particularly the unpredictability or the volatile nature of what is happening between Israel and Iran. So governors decided to hold on to this for a while. Let's have a conversation on this. Let's speak with Richmond Roxon. He's a spokesperson for the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. Lawyer, thank you for joining us at the program. What led to the second postponement of the 1 cedi fuel levy implementation?
Thank you, Noble. Good evening to you and good evening to your cherished viewers. As the President said earlier, if you've been monitoring geopolitics, you notice that there's an issue between Iran and Israel. And Iran is a major oil producer of oil on the international market. If you look at yesterday alone, if you monitor Brent, prices for Brent, which has crude oil, has gone up by about 7%. Averagely, we are doing about 74%, $74 per barrel at a close of business yesterday. During the implementation of the amendment for ESLA, the government communicated clearly that they will keep monitoring what happens on the international market as well as the exchange rate, and that if there are any challenges or issues, definitely they will take a second look at the implementation. That's exactly what the President has done. He directed the Ministers for Energy and Green Transition as well as the Ministry of Finance to take a look at it, monitor it, and then advise. So yes, I can confirm to you that the implementation has been put for now.
Roxon, for our country and for our part of the world, if what is happening on the international market is having dire impact on us, what kind of shock absorption mechanisms do we have in place that we could rely on so that consumers would be cushioned a little?
From time to time, governments review the price indicators and they consider the exchange rate of the US and the international market as well as levies and margins. That's really the government through the Minister of Energy and Finance will look at the way forward to become how governments can be cushioned within the period.
Lastly, Roxon, what are the potential risks for Ghana's economy if oil prices become unstable due to the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East?
There are two major issues. You know that this particular levy was introduced to support the power sector. What it means is that the sustainable fund that we all said that will definitely have challenges because of the suspension or postponement of this. What it will mean is that the government of Ghana will have to stay for finance to procure liquid fuels to power our thermal plants, because the president has said that at all material times, the people of Ghana must enjoy reliable electricity supply. So that's one of the first challenges. The other challenge is that if it keeps going up, price of food will go up on the international market. We also find price of finished products also go up on the international market. This has a possibility of affecting prices of fuel at the pumps. If you look at the gains that have been made largely in the last 6 months, the last 9 prices, we've seen price drop consistently because of the management of the exchange rates. This development will affect prices because of geopolitics. So those are the nuances where you look at it. One, the sustainable funding for liquid fuels to be able to power thermal plants, and also the possibility of prices going up at the pump.
Richmond Roxon, thank you. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Richmond Roxon is a lawyer and he's a spokesperson to the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, speaking with us there. Let's do some other stories tonight.
Right, Crosby, we're moving on now, and construction of phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project has commenced. Stanley Nibler reports that 3 of the hardest hit communities by tidal destruction, Agaveji, Amutinu, and Salakope, are beginning to heave some sigh of relief following Amandi Holdings' return to sites.
For years, indigenes of Salakope, Amuchinu and Agaveji have been tormented by the persistent rise in tidal waves and the subsequent destruction of their homes and livelihood. The climate-induced tidal destruction also ravaged cemeteries and sacred shrines, displacing nearly half of the residents. Fishing, the lifeblood of these communities, also came to a standstill. Each day, the sea inches closer, eroding homes and livelihoods. In response to the deepening crisis, the government has stepped in. Mrs. Amandi Holdings, the company that executed phase 1 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project in 2016, has been re-engaged to construct an additional 8 kilometers of sea defense wall under phase 2. Following mobilization, the contractor is back on site and construction is steadily ongoing. Under the 4-year project, parts of the land already claimed by the sea are expected to be reclaimed. To boost resilience and enhance community life, the project incorporates additional facilities, including lorry station, a fish market, a fish drying and smoking area, a cold storage facility, and a waste management system. Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Kenneth Gilbert Ejay, together with the Volta Regional Minister James Bunu, visited the affected communities to seek residents' cooperation for the project. A town hall meeting was held to solicit the views of residents.
His Excellency, the President came here to assess the sea erosion affecting the 3 communities within this area. So he promised the people that very soon we will start something on it by preventing the sea from taking over the land. So today we came here to let the people know that what the President said, he's taking action. Now we've gotten contractors who are coming to do the work, and very soon His Excellency will be here to cut salt for the project to start.
The assemblyman for the Amuchinu Salakope electoral area, Kuma Vesta, commended the government for its timely intervention.
This is what they've been looking up for the past 8 years. They have cried and cried and cried, but the previous government could not heed to their cry. Today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has come, pleased us, and has delivered. As you can see, there are a lot of people. The company is on site trying to start the project. It has brought joy to us, and we believe strongly that in the coming days, the little properties that are left will be serviced.
The chief fisherman, Togbe Emmanuel Anumutete, while welcoming the Sea Defense Initiative, insisted that dredging is a more effective long-term solution.
What they have told us now is they are coming to put up grinds, which started from Blekusu to Agaveji. It doesn't help because we, the people along here, we do our fishing net through dragging from the deep sea to assure, by the grind, it will affect our industry. It will damage our fishing net. So we advised the government a long time ago that whatsoever they want to do for us, they must be sure they dredge the area. The sea will be stable.
He also expressed dissatisfaction over the inconsistency in food relief efforts provided by charitable organizations and individuals.
What actually donated to us doesn't reach us because Assemblyman and his committee will take the lion's share. The Nandom people also have their own share. Before you read the community,
this is a wild allegation.
It is not an allegation. I'm telling you the truth.
Meanwhile, environmental health officers have assisted families to exhume and relocate the remains of deceased loved ones whose graves were exposed by the advancing sea. Concerns also remain about the resettlement efforts. A parcel of land acquired for a resettlement community has turned to be waterlogged. Initial buildings constructed for habitation are rapidly deteriorating due to high water concentration in the soil. The Volta Regional Minister James Gunu called for the use of improved and sustainable building technologies to address the housing challenges.
Now there are some materials that can be used, not depending on the laterite block, the sand block. We can get bricks, we can get some other materials that will be suitable for this environment. We can apply those technologies to get this whole place re-engineered properly for the people to settle here.
As phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project takes shape, it marks a crucial turning point for the battered coastal communities of Agaveji, Amuchinu and Salakope. While the sea defense offers hope for protection and stability, the long-term success of the initiative will depend not only on engineering solutions, but also a holistic resettlement planning, sustained community engagement, and climate-adaptive infrastructure. For residents whose lives have been upended, the real measure of progress will be the ability to rebuild not just homes, but entire futures on safer ground. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Amuchinu, Volta Region.
Well, away from the Volta region, the Attorney General is preparing to charge 12 suspects in connection with the over 548 million cedis national service scandal. But ahead of that, attention is turning to how quickly the justice system can respond and whether public confidence can be restored through firm and transparent accountability. There's more in this report.
On Friday, June 13, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, revealed that Ghana lost over 548 million cedis through a criminal enterprise operating within the National Service Authority. The Attorney General alleged that the suspects manipulated systems and processes at the NSS over several years to siphon funds meant for the National Service operations.
Some directors, such as Gifty Owari Mensah, created and executed a meticulously detailed plan using NSP, National Service Personnel Allowances, as security to obtain a loan of 30,698,218 cedis, 69 pesos, from the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, at an interest rate of 23%. She achieved these results by using other people's information to register a company called Blocks of Life Consult without their knowledge or permission.
One of those named in the scandal, Yakubu, MP and a former executive director of the National Service Scheme, Mustafa Yusuf, strongly denied any wrongdoing in a statement. He called for calm among his supporters and constituents, saying he would defend himself in court. For the current executive director for the National Service Authority, Felix Shemfi, despite the revelations, the authority remains focused in delivering its mandate.
Our focus is very clear, and it is to build a better national service where we would have moved away from this cancer that has eaten so deep into the very fabric of the organization that otherwise should be at the forefront of youth development empowerment. My resolve is so solid that henceforth we are done with the serious, disastrous, horrendous of issues at the authority, and that I can assure everybody.
Speaking on the key points, private legal practitioner Martin Pebu expressed the view that the Attorney General should focus on recovering the funds allegedly misappropriated.
Some other persons had approached him for the non-prosecution agreement. We will beg, maybe if we get details, if they are bringing us money, Dr. Ayini, please accept. Say some other people want non-prosecution agreement, and invariably, if they say they want non-prosecution agreement, mean that they'll be bringing money. Let's collect the money. You see, let's say this 12, out of these 12, if 6 more bring the money, we should collect, so that if we are prosecuting 6, sure.
A renowned public law and justice fellow at CDD Ghana, Professor Stephen Kweku-Asare, is calling for timelines to be set for such prosecutions in order to build public confidence.
I agree with the Attorney General that some of the law perpetrators, we can negotiate deals with them, get them to return their loot, and then get them to testify against the big-time conspirators. That is done in every jurisdiction. But to just extend that branch to everyone, that is a mistake. Rather, what we must do is, in addition to the prosecution, we recover the loot. So not just send you to prison, but when we send you to prison, we are also going to take all steps to recover the loot that you have taken from us.
According to the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, investigations into the scandal have been completed and charges will be filed against 12 suspects involving the scandal. The investigation forms part of the government's anti-corruption initiative, Operation Recover All Loots Oral.
In some more news this evening, rural health workers, especially nurses and midwives, face a multitude of challenges, including limited resources, difficult working conditions, and dilapidated infrastructure that affect their ability to provide adequate care. Despite these glaring challenges, midwives and nurses continue to deliver quality healthcare services. In the following report, my colleague Christopher Amako assesses the plight of nurses and midwives at the Kayarso Health Center in the East Gonja municipality of the Savannah region.
Established in 2000 as a community health center, the Kayarso Health Center has not undergone any major renovation since its inception. From a distance, one might mistake the facility for an abandoned structure. A dilapidated building with ripped-off roofs, deep cracks in the walls, inadequate medical supplies, and outdated healthcare equipment is what greets any first-time visitor. The delivery and detention rooms still use the same beds that have been in place for nearly 25 years.
For the past 25 years, since the year 2000, this delivery bed has served as the only delivery bed here at the Kayarso Health Center. Now, even though the bed has outlived its usefulness, it's still the only bed that provides delivery services.
I met Sani Zakia, a midwife and the officer in charge of the Kayarso Health Center. She's been working at the facility for the past 9 years. She tells me that working here has not been easy.
Honestly, I feel so sad. It's not been easy working here. You wake up early morning, then you see people coming in with conditions that you don't have equipment to give them the right services. No better drugs. We have poor lighting system that makes our vaccines go bad. We have a lot of challenges, including even common water to bath is a problem.
For her, while working in rural communities comes with its own glaring challenges, recognition and opportunities are often reserved for health workers in urban areas.
Not pay as compared to the type of work we deliver here. Because when you look at your colleagues at the urban sectors, they run shifts. They go at least 6 to 7 hours. They have gone back to the house. But we at the villages, we run 24-hour services. Whether you have the equipment to work or not, you are supposed to be at post. And then after the working hours, you have to be in your room, still waiting for those who come with either emergency or not even the emergency.
Yeboah Benedict, a community health nurse, was posted to the Kairiso Health Center 2 years ago, but he says he's already overwhelmed by the daily challenges.
Looking at the building is dilapidated, and where we are, there's accommodation too, but it's not safe, it's terrible. Sometimes you'll be lying down, scorpion will just climb your mattress and come and give it to you. You'll be seeing snakes and those things, some flies. It's not easy. When you wake up in the morning, there are no drugs. You don't know the kind of condition that the clients will come with. But we still struggle to help them.
Recently, members of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association embarked on a strike demanding the full implementation of their 2024 collective agreement. This included provision for rural incentives, fuel and uniform allowances.
Nurses that are available, they are doing all that they could. Although the equipments are not there for them to use to do their work, but they still try their best to do what they can.
For Zakia and her colleagues, rural nurses deserve more recognition and support to encourage others to accept postings to underserved areas. Do you have a husband or a boyfriend?
I have a boyfriend.
Okay, so when you come here, how long do you stay here, and does he come to visit you?
I will not be happy for him coming to visit me because the place is very bad.
The undesirable conditions under which rural healthcare givers, especially nurses and midwives, go through to provide quality healthcare services remain a topic for discussion, especially on the conditions of service. A typical of such is the Kairiso Health Center, where the nurses and midwives here have to brace all odds to deliver quality healthcare services despite the myriads of challenges they go through. Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Kairiso.
Well, countless lives are saved by the selfless acts of blood donors every day, and these unsung heroes give generously, often without expectation or recognition or reward. Evelyn Tingma explores the motivations behind blood donation to the impact it has on individuals and communities.
These are people who, out of their own volition, wake up in the morning and decide that I'm giving blood to somebody who I do not know.
Give blood, give hope. Together we save lives. That is the theme for this year's Blood Donor Day. It summarizes how blood donation is not only a simple act of kindness, but a powerful expression of how others can give hope and healing to those in urgent need. Noeline Kumo is an example. She is a voluntary donor and has donated her blood 48 times, making her the first female to have donated blood for this number of times. But what could have been her motivation?
It all started way back in '99 when I was in SHS. I saw a documentary on TV, and it was about this pregnant woman who was heavily pregnant, and I don't know how the husband, beat her mercilessly, and she bled profusely. And after beating her, he left. So someone came to rescue her, took her to the hospital, and it was between life and death. So they needed blood because she has bled enough. It was very difficult, but they still had the blood. But after putting to birth, she didn't make it. I had a deep thought through that, and I was like, what can I do to be able to make blood available?
She is determined to donate at any given time.
If we are able to have 1% of Ghanaians having blood donation every 4 months, I think we wouldn't have the problem of come and donate, going to schools, churches, institutions, telling them to come and donate.
Noeline is not the only one who is always willing to donate.
So far, I've given 45 times. It's just to save some lives. And anytime you give blood, you get more strength. It's like you flush your whole system.
Chief Executive Officer of the National Blood Service, Dr. Shirley Owusu-Ofori, lamented Ghana's blood collection index is low while demand is high.
Nationally, across the country is slightly above average. The WHO says if we have 10 units per 1,000 population, every country's blood needs would be met. We've edged from below 5. The year before we were 5.8, and this year, the year ending, we were 6.1. But the needs for blood keep increasing for different conditions that arise in our hospitals.
She encouraged people to voluntarily donate to save lives.
Today we celebrate our silent heroes, and therefore we invite everyone who has never given before to consider it. We know some of you have fears, but your fears are unwarranted because the blood service will never do anything to harm you. So we encourage all healthy Ghanaians to stretch out their arm and give us a unit of life-saving blood.
Other organizations, including schools, churches, corporate entities and individuals, in a bid to support, have been organizing blood donation exercises, but that also, according to them, do not come easy.
2020. That was my first time of organizing blood donation. I wrote to many companies for sponsorship and not even one. All they were saying is, oh, we'll get back to you, we'll call you. They gave me the zeal that they will be, but getting to a certain point, I saw I was in this alone.
As the world celebrates blood donors who are referred to as the silent heroes, ask yourself, what can you also do to save the life of a mother, a child, a breadwinner, and a patient whose lives depend on blood? What the National Blood Service is saying is that you can make an impact in their lives, and to the youth in particular, your donation can be a turning point for someone in need. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
Great report there by Evelyn Tingman. Let's now take you to the Western region, where security operatives have raided illegal mining sites in the region. The operation, which took place in Wasa Memphis, is part of government's ongoing anti-galamsey crackdown. Irama Smith reports that excavators and weapons were seized.
8 a.m. on Friday, security operatives launched the 4th edition of anti-galamsey operations in the Western region. The team, comprising personnel from the Western Naval Command, 2nd Infantry Battalion, the police and immigration, was led by the Western Regional National Security Liaison Officer, Brigadier General Musa Waja retired, who addressed them ahead of the operation.
You don't go into any of the shelters if you are going to meet any shelter. You don't go there alone. You are going to do some searching somebody's pocket. At the end of the day, something will happen to you. You are not going there to eat. You have enough to eat. So let's finish the operation. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. After briefing, security personnel were divided into 7 mixed teams to raid illegal mining sites along the Miesie River, a galamsey hotspot in the Wasa Amenfi East municipality.
Our area of operation centered on Wasa Kropon, Damwa Krum, and Mansieso. The main river is River Mensie. We realized that tributary of the Cobra has been seriously polluted.
Arriving at the first site at about 2 minutes past 5 a.m., the temporary structures were unoccupied. After searching the area, they set the site ablaze. The search revealed 3 excavators hidden in a nearby thicket. Following the operation, 7 excavators and 3 pump action guns were retrieved. The excavators have been impounded by the Wasa Amenfi East Assembly for further investigations. Municipal Chief Executive Raymond Nana Eba says the Assembly intends to establish a committee to oversee the reclamation of degraded lands for productive use.
Now we are going to form a committee to claim all the lands that are the lost land, the lands that the old government couldn't do it. So we are going to reclaim it and then make use of it. So that's the plans that the Assembly, I just came, so Just give us some time. We'll do all the recommendations, then put in use.
Miners who voluntarily participate will be incentivized.
We've promised the miners that those that are going to do the recommendation will get something from the assembly.
During the operation, we observed one miner voluntarily reclaiming his degraded land. In a related development, the Western Regional National Security Liaison Officer, Brigadier General Musa Waja, retired, is also proposing that arrested illegal miners be made to restore the land they degraded as part of their punishment.
It is my intention to inform the various municipalities, municipal assemblies, the MCs, so that we could have a committee which can monitor all those areas, because all those who are doing the illegal mining, they are known within the area. So if any of them is arrested and documented, we can give the person a period of time and get back to the place to ensure that whatever he has destroyed, the soil are reclaimed.
Erama Smith, TV3 News, Western Region.
Now, nearly 100 homes and various structures have been damaged after a rainstorm struck the Nandom municipality of the Upper West region. My colleague Ibrahim Wangara reports that the torrential downpour accompanied by fierce winds lasted for hours.
The damage was extensive. Many houses had their roofs ripped off, while fences of recently completed buildings crumpled under the storm's relentless force. The Tuopare Junior High School also sustained significant damage, along with several metal container kiosks and shops. The assembly member for the Tuopare electoral area, Augustine Dere, shared his anguish over the unprecedented destruction his community has faced.
The GHS is affected. The primary part of it is affected. More than 50 houses are affected. This is a storm that even elderly people in Tuopare say they have never seen in their lifetime. So we are appealing to benevolent individuals to come to the aid of my electoral area. Else, many are homeless and are seeking for assistance from benevolent individuals.
Among the victims is 54-year-old farmer Matthew Dogle, whose 8-room apartment was severely affected by the storm. The Go electoral area also suffered greatly. A retired prison officer, Chief Inspector Kunsa Eben, described the intensity of the storm.
Yesterday's rainstorm was so severe that it destroyed three rooms of my apartment. The water flooded the whole rooms. Furniture, bed, even my mattresses were soaked in the distance. I chiseled a hole in the rooms and then gush out the water.
Kennedy Tamfa Bombia, the assembly member for the Gu electoral area, also expressed concern.
Overall, it's about 21 households that have been affected by the rainstorm. My community, I'm pleading, whoever can give us a support, at least to help those people that are affected, I'll be pleased with that. I've reached out to that move and they came in. They came and walked around.
Ibrahim Wangara, TV3 News, Nandom, Upper West Region.
Stay with us here on News 360. We'll be back with some more stories. On an ongoing field station project in the Hopedo electoral area in the whole municipality until certain safety measures are implemented following agitations from residents. The MPA's action follows a TV3 report highlighting fears raised by residents against the siting of the project in the residential area. There's more in the following report.
The ongoing project located in the Hopedo electoral area intensified when residents in the area first learned the facility was going to be a gas filling station. Several attempts by the residents to get authorities to stop the project over safety concerns received no or little attention. But a TV3 report in April this year regarding the project caught the attention of the National Petroleum Authority.
When the news item got my attention, I decided to put up a team together so that we can together fashion out some actionable plans to resolve their grievance. Thankfully today we came, we met the people who are directly impacted by the siting of the station, the bigger or the wider community as well. And thankfully we have come to some working plan. Right from the beginning, we made it clear to the developer that if it's for LPG, it's a no-go area.
Following the community engagement, the developer has assured residents of adhering to all safety protocols recommended by the MPA and the other relevant agencies.
We assure the community that anything that is an engineering solution to the existing problems will be done. We would engage them, get their understanding of what we've done.
Abel Youngs, one of the agitated residents, told TV3 News that they are satisfied with the outcome of the engagement and emphasized the need for the developer to keep to all recommendations.
All other measures that a filling station or whether a gas filling station or petrol filling station that they have to put in place to make sure that we are safe in the community, they promise us that they will put them in place.
Calm has since been restored in the area. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
Sports segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Let's touch base with Bill Shen for some sports news. Good to see you, Bill. What do you have for us?
Looking dashing.
And you too.
Thank you so much. What do you have in sports?
Well, the MTN FA Cup in the next 24 hours, we'll see a new winner between Kotoko and Golden Kick. And there's also the Club World Cup coming up very, very shortly.
Bring us the details.
Right, let's begin from the MTN FA Cup. In the next 24 hours, we will witness a new winner in the competition as Asante Kotoko prep to take on Division 1 League side Golden Kick at the University of Ghana Stadium. Now, Golden Kick hope to cause an upset, while Asante Kotoko are looking to avoid going trophyless. Both coaches spoke ahead of the game.
Very good side. They have all what it takes to play in Africa and so on and so forth. So people will rate them higher than us. But football is football. Others can surprise the big giants. So it's not new, and it's not news if we beat Kotoko, you know. So we are preparing ourselves physically, mentally, and then psychologically, so that we'll approach them with right mindset to surprise them.
Well, you know, the attitude of which they are going to play us is different from the attitude we are going to use. We have to fight and then try to come out of a good attitude, positive attitude. But when you are playing the lower side, especially Kotoko as a folk, the boys themselves motivate themselves because they are going to play us, they are going to play Kotoko. So even there are certain trainings they don't usually do, they will do it themselves. You see them going to road. We all done it before when we had to meet Accra as a folk or Kotoko when we were young. So this is the most dangerous part of it. They will prepare mentally and physically to face you.
Of course, looking at the journeys of the two teams, Asante Kotoko relatively breezed past the opponents in 5 games, winning all 5 in the build-up to the MTN FA Cup final. The final game was against Blekusu, where they defeated them by 1-0 in the semi-final. And for Golden Kicks, they actually played 6 games and won 3 penalty shootouts before defeating Atram Divisa in the second semi-final of that competition. Moving on, as part of the activities leading to the prestigious Gong Gong Festival of Creativity and Awards 2025, the Advertising Association of Ghana has successfully held Gong Gong Interagency Fun Games. This exciting event brought together teams from member advertising agencies and industry partners to compete in a variety of games. My colleague Rabi Edueje was present and came up with this report.
The games, which took place on Saturday at the Aviation Social Center, served as an opportunity for workers to break from their regular work and participate in sporting activities that would contribute to their fitness and overall well-being. Various sporting events, including five-a-side football, basketball, volleyball, video games and other exciting sporting disciplines were in full swing as workers showed their sporting prowess. President of Advertising Association of Ghana, Andrews Aka, expressed excitement over the turnout of events.
We want to extend this to other agencies who are not part of the AAG, that we want to welcome you in. The more we get agencies joining our fold, the better our resolve in having one voice in fighting for the advertising bill. We can also put our voices together to be able to fight canker like the indiscriminate mounting of billboard, which is causing danger to pedestrians and danger to motorists. So the more we get together, the more we harness our efforts together, the better we can put a voice together and fight institutions and systems that are impeding or that are inhibiting the growth of our industry.
Barbara Davis, Executive Director at Molino Accra, also highlighted the benefits of engaging in sports events beyond the office.
We have to get to know each other and spread the good vibes. It's not always about work. We have to get together. We're in people's homes every day telling them things. So it's good that we get together and see where we can push things and how we can vibe and share fun.
The prestigious Gong Gong Festival of Creativity and Awards 2025 will happen on Saturday, 28th June at the Omanye Conference Hall, Labadi Beach Hotel.
Now to our final story, the FIFA Club World Cup is entering a new era with an expanded 32-team format set to take place in the United States. Host club side Inter Miami would be playing their opening game in the next few hours. And sports journalist Derek Ayim, who is based in the USA, believes Real Madrid and Manchester City are favourites for the title.
The big ones, the teams that have got that pedigree, and also you kind of mention a tournament like this and not take out the team that has won the most in this competition, that's Real Madrid. You can take out Real Madrid. They've announced Trent Alexander-Arnold to boost or beef up their squad. Also, Manchester City, they're doing an incredible job. Signing Rancheki, Tijani Reinders, and the likes. I Nuri also into the squad, and that is a packed squad, a big squad. And I think Pep Guardiola would like to win it because they are the final champions of the reigning champions of the FIFA Club World Cup. So they would like to win it.
That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Billy Shen. Entertainment is up next.
In entertainment news this evening, the journey to finding true love on Perfect Match Extra has been nothing short of a roller coaster packed with passion, heartbreak, drama, and self-discovery. After an unforgettable week of romance and rivalry, the final showdown is here. 7 couples remain, but only a few will make it to the grand finale. The road ahead won't be easy. At least 2 or more couples will face eviction tonight. The tension is high, from steamy games to emotional twists. These individuals have given us non-stop entertainment over the past few weeks. Now the time has come to determine which 3 couples will secure their spots in the final battle for love, fame, and the grand prize. Who will make it to the end? Who will say their goodbyes tonight? Find out in tonight's explosive episode of Perfect Match Extra Season 3.
And that's your entertainment. Let's now bring you some international news.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will strike every site and every target of Iran after Iran launched waves of missiles in retaliation for Israeli strikes on Friday. In Israel, officials say 3 people have been killed and dozens injured, while Iranian state TV reports 60 people were killed in a strike in Tehran. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has threatened a more severe response if Israel continues its attacks. With Israel saying its operation could last weeks and urging Iranians to rise up against their rulers, fears have grown of a regional conflict which could drag in outside powers. Israel's defense minister has threatened to burn Tehran if Iran fires more missiles. Iran.
News 360 returns right after this. Welcome back. But that's how we wrap up on News 360 live from our studios here, number 35, John Hammond Street in Accra. There's always more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Annan.
And I'm Ayisha Yakubu. Enjoy the rest of our programs and have a good day.